everyone, today I've got my Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4 Disney Plus review. With only 2 episodes left, are we going to see yet another thrilling episode with more jaw-dropping reveals? So as far as the story goes, this episode, titled The Whole World is Watching, it opens up to a flashback in Wakanda before picking up to where we left off with Bucky being confronted by an old ally in Io, played by the remarkable Florence Kazumba, who we saw at the end of the last episode. And I have to say, I really feel bad for Bucky here, especially with how he was treated by Zemo. And that flashback alone just made me, understand, why he gets triggered easily and is reminded about his time with Hydra, and in the past it makes him a more likable character, and his acting here I felt like was really believable yet heartbreaking at the same time. I actually almost wanted to cry at one point because I really felt for him here. And between looking for Carly or even the power broker, this episode takes you on this wild journey that I feel like is really paced very well. I mean, I've been really impressed with this series so far with how, you have that mix of action and drama, but it all just, goes hand in hand, and especially when they have to find this super soldier serum, that it's a race against time and figuring out who will end up taking it. I mean, that's always been a really big debate among the fans, like who is going to end up being one of those candidates. And as the episode escalates, the stakes continue to be raised right up to the very end. So it's definitely very intense to see, how everything, transpired. And I'll be sort of revealing a spoiler at the end of this video, so you've been warned ahead of time that is probably the only time I'm going to be spoiling something here. Now, anyway, with this group, the Flag Smashers, they are devising a new plan, and even, if the good guys are trying to go after them while they're trying to find these, the serum, or trying to play this game of keep away, and they don't exactly know the concept of a covert operation. But who really cares, because half the public doesn't really trust these, supposed good guys who, are just trying to do the right thing and actually help them, even if they might not want their help in the first place. So as far as the casting goes, Anthony Mackie Sam is still dealing with issues in his personal life, whether it's with his sister, as well as, having these interactions with his friends, and eventually coming in contact with Carly, who, that definitely took some time to actually get to that point. But, she might be afraid of actually being caught by him because, especially in this one scene where she's speaking at a funeral and then she looks up and then she sees him watching over her. She gets a little bit nervous there. I can tell she wants to run, and it'd be really funny if he just jumped down and said, "You're arrested, bitch." And then Sebastian Stan, there are times when I feel like he's, really into the character of Bucky. And not just in the beginning of this episode, but when he's having to stick up for himself and not just having to be someone's sidekick, I think he does a really good job here in this episode. And, the scenes that he's in, especially those action scenes that just make him really stand out. Daniel Bruhl, not only can he dance, but he can sing as Zemo, and I still feel like I can't trust him, even though he comes off as this generous, type of guy, giving Turkish delights to these kids, and, he's, rocking it with his rich man self, and I just feel like there's definitely something up with him. Once a bad guy, always a bad guy. I don't care about this whole, anti-hero conversation, but I just don't feel like that could end up ever being him. Emily Van Camp's Sharon Carter may also be someone who you don't want to trust yet, or maybe you might, but she could end up being the power broker. Now, I know a lot of fans have been, predicting who, that could be in the past, but maybe it could be her. I still believe that. And Carly is trying to make you feel sympathy towards her and trying to humanize her a bit, but how can you actually try to like her, even if, reasoning and realization that maybe she's not so special after all is moot? I mean, she's just, I feel like there's just something wrong with her and she's going a little bit crazy. And I don't know if it's just because she's obsessed with this super soldier serum, and I just don't understand. She's kind of odd, especially when she's, leading this group of, people with these ideals that just don't match up with anybody else. Wyatt Russell's John Walker is trying to come off all intimidating, of course, once again, and especially to Bucky. I really didn't like his interaction with him, where he just still comes off all cocky and is definitely up to something. And I just feel like I've never liked him in the beginning, and obviously, like I said in one of my other episode reviews, he's definitely coming off as this unlikable character. But the things that I did like about this episode was that I don't know what's scarier, New Cap versus Bucky, or Carly versus Falcon, or Carly versus New Cap, rather, because that scene was really intense, and the camera work I felt like was just really impressive with how it all played out, whether it was those close-up shots or faraway shots, stunt work. But there were a few partially predictable moments that I feel like fans have been theorizing about, and one scene in particular that made me smile was when Io and members of the Dora Milaje come, busting in when John Walker is, as Sam called it, running his mouth. But it's really funny to see when, what Zemo does in the background. He's either chilling or he's trying to, sneak away quietly, all villainy. And I use so many different facial expressions watching this one particular scene. When it all unfolds, I mean, I just, I'm almost at a loss of words, but pardon my language. But unlike John Walker, after dealing with Io, Steve Rogers wouldn't have been made to look like a little bitch like he did. And speaking of John Walker, he's trying to find his friend Battlestar, who had been taken by the Flag Smashers, and you can definitely see a more motivated and rage-filled Cap this time around, and it's kind of a different type of behavior than what we had seen from him in the past, and it's, very unlike him, and I wonder why. And with all the crazy fight sequences going on, it is too late for Battlestar, unfortunately, and he perishes by Carly's hand. And I'd say it was sad yet shocking to watch him die that fast. And I feel like I'd seen, hero deaths that, actually left an impact. But I feel like this one definitely did for me. And so John Walker goes after a Flag Smasher, not really caring, who's around, and he's going apeshit and kills them with his shield. Yes. It was probably the most intense, jaw-dropping, shocking moment I have ever seen, especially a character like him to do, and just seeing that progression escalate to that moment in this show, and I just couldn't believe what I saw, and it was such a wow moment that I think it really did stick with me, a while after I saw the episode, and, just seeing, all these witnesses that, see, his facial expression change and his reaction, or maybe a lack of reaction to what he did. And it reminded me of that scene in Black Panther where T'Challa was about to take out Ulysses Claw, and he ended up not doing that. John Walker certainly went full on killer mode here, so now we'll see if New Cap will have to answer for this type of behavior, and just seeing the way that society has viewed him might change, because he's not such a symbol after all, especially when he goes off killing like this. I mean, this is something I feel like Steve Rogers wouldn't do. And like I said, it was only, there's only 2 more episodes left to go until the hopefully exciting conclusion to this series. So overall, I would say that I was still really impressed with this episode. I definitely enjoyed myself watching this, so I would highly recommend seeing this episode, and I would give this 5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4, and as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.